Valar Morghulis. Take a look at this image. It's the Iron Throne, but something's different. That's right, it's Robert Baratheon sitting there, older but very much alive. This isn't just fan art, it's the starting point for our journey today. From this one changed moment, we're going to redraw the map of Westeros. Welcome to Visions of Valyria. In today's episode, we explore a gripping alternate reality. What if King Robert Baratheon never died? We'll show you new alliances, avoided wars, and destinies rewritten. By the time we're done, you'll see a whole new Game of Thrones unfold before your eyes. But first, what if I told you the most powerful family in Westeros could crumble overnight? The Lannister Downfall. Robert's fury is unleashed, and it's a sight to behold. The king who once lived for feasts and hunts now burns with the rage of his younger self. He roars for Jaime's head, charging him with treason. The Kingslayer, once untouchable, now faces the very real possibility of losing his own head. But what about Cersei? The Queen's fate hangs in the balance. Exile, imprisonment, or something even worse? Robert's not known for mercy, especially when it comes to matters of pride. We might see Cersei shipped off to the Silent Sisters, stripped of her titles and separated from her children. Or maybe Robert's wrath demands a more permanent solution. Meanwhile, Tywin Lannister's world is crumbling around him. The old lion's desperate now, scrambling to salvage what's left of the Lannister legacy. He might try bargain with Robert, offering mountains of gold to spare his children. Or perhaps he'll turn to more sinister methods, plotting from the shadows to protect his family's power. This isn't just about one family's drama, though. The Lannister downfall could reshape the entire balance of power in Westeros. With the richest and most influential house suddenly vulnerable, who'll step up to fill the void? The Tyrells? The Martells? Or will this be the perfect opportunity for someone unexpected to make their move? In the end though, it's Cersei who faces the harshest punishment. Picture this, the proud lioness forced to walk naked through the streets of King's Landing. The small folk jeer and throw rotten food as she passes. It's a far cry from the untouchable queen she once was. This public humiliation serves as Robert's twisted form of justice, breaking Cersei's spirit and showing the realm what happens to those who betray the king. But let's not forget, every action has a reaction. And while the Lannisters fall, someone else rises. So what about the man who started it all? The one whose survival set these events in motion? That's right, I'm talking about Robert Baratheon himself. How will the king handle the aftermath of this scandal? Will he rise to the occasion or sink deeper into his vices? Well, that's a story for another moment. Robert's redemption. It's not hard to imagine. Robert's been stewing in his own anger and betrayal. The wine's lost its taste, and the thought of another feast makes him sick. He's got nothing left but his crown and his rage. And you know what? Sometimes that's all a man needs to change his whole world. Picture Robert pushing himself off his throne, his eyes blazing with a fire we haven't seen since the Trident. He starts spending more time in the training yard, swinging that warhammer again. At first he can barely lift it, but day by day the old strength returns. The court whispers, wondering if their king's finally lost his mind. But Robert doesn't care. He's got something to prove now, to himself, to his kingdom, and to everyone who ever doubted him. But it's not just about getting back in shape. Robert's mind is sharpening too. He starts attending small council meetings, actually listening instead of dozing off. He asks questions, makes decisions. The other lords are shocked. Where's the drunken fool they're used to? This new Robert, he's focused, he's driven, and he's not about to let anyone push him around anymore. Now, think about how this changes the game. The Lannisters are in disgrace, but the other houses are watching Robert closely. The Tyrells might see an opportunity to cozy up to this reinvigorated king. The Martells could finally see a chance for the justice they've been craving. And the Baratheon brothers? Well, Robert might just have the strength to knock their heads together and remind them who's really in charge. But the big question is, can Robert keep it up? We've seen him passionate before, but always about the wrong things. Can he channel that fire into being a good king? It's not going to be easy. He's got years of bad habits to break and enemies lurking in every shadow. But if he pulls it off, well, we might just see the Robert Baratheon that Ned Stark believed in all those years ago. Imagine it, Robert Baratheon, no longer a joke but a true leader. The kind of king people follow not because of his crown, but because of his strength. The realm united not by fear of the Lannisters, but by respect for their ruler. It's a long shot, sure, but stranger things have happened in Westeros. Of course, every action has consequences, and while Robert's transformation might be good for the realm, it's going to shake things up for everyone around him, especially for one man, the Hand of the King. Ned Stark's always been loyal to Robert, but how will he handle this new version of his old friend? That's where things get really interesting. We've seen Ned Stark stand firm in the face of danger before, but this might be his toughest test yet. What if the very qualities that make Ned a great friend to Robert become his greatest weakness as Hand of the King? Ned Stark's Dilemma. With Robert's newfound vigour, Ned's role as Hand of the King becomes more crucial than ever. The quiet wolf of Winterfell finds himself caught in a storm of conflicting loyalties. On one side, there's his lifelong friendship with Robert, a bond forged in rebellion and strengthened through years of shared history. On the other, there's his unyielding sense of honour and duty to the realm. Ned's always been the voice of reason in Robert's ear, but now he's facing a whole new challenge. This reinvigorated Robert isn't just listening, he's acting, and every decision the king makes sends ripples through the Seven Kingdoms. Ned has to balance supporting his friend's positive changes while also tempering Robert's more, let's say, enthusiastic ideas. But it's not just about Robert. Ned's position puts him smack in the middle of a tug of war between North and South. The North has always felt a bit apart from the rest of Westeros, and now their liege lord is the second most powerful man in the kingdom. You can bet the other northern lords are hoping Ned will use his influence to benefit their interests. But as Hand, Ned's duty is to the entire realm. Every choice he makes could be seen as favouring one region over another. And let's not forget about the Lannister situation. Ned's the one who helped expose Cersei's secret, but now he's got to deal with the fallout. Tywin Lannister might be scrambling, but he's still a dangerous man. One wrong move from Ned could spark a conflict that engulfs the whole kingdom. The big question is, will Ned's famous honour be his greatest strength, or his fatal flaw? We've seen how his rigid moral code can put him at odds with the more flexible, some might say corrupt, politics of King's Landing. In a world where Robert's actually paying attention, Ned's honesty could be exactly what the realm needs, or it could be the thing that brings everything crashing down. Here's the real kicker though. After all the speculation, all the weighing of options, Ned makes a choice that nobody sees coming. He decides to, well, let's just say it's something that goes against everything we thought we knew about Eddard Stark. It's a decision that sends shockwaves through Westeros, reshaping alliances and setting the stage for conflicts we never imagined. But while the Seven Kingdoms reel from Ned's surprising move, a new threat is brewing across the Narrow Sea. One that could make all these political maneuvers seem like child's play in comparison. Across the Narrow Sea, a power more ancient than the Iron Throne itself is stirring. Dragons and Krakens. But here's the twist. Daenerys Targaryen, the mother of dragons, is dead. Her 3 fire-breathing children are now wild and untamed, roaming the skies of Essos. It's a powder keg waiting to explode. And who should step onto this volatile stage but Euron Greyjoy, with a legendary artifact in his possession, the Dragonbinder. Euron's no fool. He's cunning, ambitious, and now he's got his hands on a horn said to control dragons. Can you imagine the chaos if he succeeds? 3 massive fire-breathing weapons at the command of one of the most ruthless men in the known world. It's like handing a madman the keys to the most destructive force in existence. The potential for devastation is unreal. We've seen what just one dragon can do in the hands of Aegon the Conqueror. Now picture 3 of them, directed by someone with no qualms about burning cities to the ground. Euron could reshape the map of Essos and Westeros on a whim. Entire armies could be reduced to ash, castles that have stood for centuries melted like candles. This isn't just a shift in the balance of power, it's like someone's taken the scales and tossed them into a fire. The great houses of Westeros, their armies and castles suddenly seem like children's toys. Even the Iron Throne itself might not be safe if Euron decides he wants to sit on it. But here's the million-gold dragon question. Can anyone stop a Greyjoy with dragons? The combined might of Westeros struggled against Robert's rebellion, and that was just men fighting men. How do you even begin to combat someone who can rain fire from the skies at will? The response from the realm would be fascinating to watch. Fear and urgency would spread like wildfire. We might see alliances forming that we never thought possible. Stark and Lannister, Tyrell and Martell, all putting aside their differences in the face of an existential threat. The Maesters of the Citadel would be scrambling through ancient texts, looking for any weakness, any solution to this dragon problem. And let's not forget the Iron Islands themselves. How would they react to one of their own suddenly becoming the most powerful force in the world? Would they rally behind Euron, seeing a chance for the Ironborn to rule the waves and the skies? Or would some see him as a threat to their very way of life? As Euron's shadow looms larger, the future of Westeros hangs in the balance. The Game of Thrones suddenly seems small in comparison to the Game of Dragons. And with threats multiplying on all sides, one thing's for certain: the world we thought we knew is about to change forever. So there you have it, one man's survival and the whole world of Westeros turns upside down. It's crazy to think how much hinges on a single life, isn't it? The Lannisters fall, Robert finds his strength, Ned faces impossible choices, and dragons dance to a Kraken's tune. It just goes to show how fragile power really is in the Game of Thrones. But this is just one possible future. What other twists could fate have in store? Maybe the White Walkers make their move earlier without all the chaos in the south. Or perhaps Stannis decides it's his time to shine, even with his brother still on the throne. The possibilities are endless, and that's what makes Westeros so fascinating. Who knows, maybe we'll explore some of those paths another time. Valid to Hyras. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to Visions of Valyria for more intriguing Game of Thrones theories, alternate histories and deep dives into the world of Westeros.